This is Python's Paradise. I am your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, and this is January the 8th, 2021. And we've dealt with enough of the pandemic stuff from last year, and we're hoping to wipe that out this year, knocking on wood. But today we're going to celebrate something different. We're going to forget about politics. We're going to forget about pandemics. We're going to celebrate magic. We're going to celebrate my guest today, who I met at Horror-rama in 2017. I've seen him there in 2018, where he performed a magic trick right there with my camera. And 2019 also. Folks, I give you the wonderfully awesome and talented illusionist, magician, excuse me, my stutter, Ryan Brown. How do you
How you
do,
doing,
Ryan?
Greg? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I wish
Fantastic.
I hate the pandemic, but I got to say, I miss Toronto. I understand you guys are in severe lockdown, huh?
We are, and we miss you, Greg.
You know what? I miss Toronto. I didn't get to go out there because of the pandemic last year, but I've kept in touch with you. I've kept in touch with a number of people, Lisa and Blood Opera, and periodically Lewis, but mainly through Facebook message. But
Mhm.
I miss Toronto a lot, and I'm really glad that Lisa invited me to Horror-rama in 2017 because what an experience that was, and how that opened up some possibilities for me.
Mhm.
And of course, you were Horror-rama 2017 was the fourth year for Horror-rama, so it was
Mhm.
first year I went, and that was the first year you went too, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, and I remember you had the white face paint on at the time, and you
Yeah, my kind of I was trying to create this makeup style that almost resembled, the Crow almost, a
yeah.
kind of Alice Cooper Crow kind of look was what I was trying to create there. Yeah.
Well, and I remember, I can't remember who it was, whether it was John Harrison or who it was that was in attendance, told me to go meet you. So,
Wow.
yeah, and I went over. I know you showed me a card trick there, and then the following year, I think I bought one of your posters.
You did.
I should have got that out here while I was here, but I'm not going to dig that out now. But I do have one of your big posters here, and
Yeah.
yeah. Although if you check out my YouTube, my haul video for I think it was 2018, I show that poster off. So
Fantastic.
yeah.
I appreciate the fanage.
Oh yeah. Yep. But yeah. But I was happy to meet you, and we got to know each other, and I got to watch you perform. I know I seen I videoed you or took pictures. No, it was pictures I took of you doing your card act, your rings, and your dove act.
Yeah.
And at the time, the Dove Act was my favorite. But through Facebook Live with you, you show me things that's impressed me even more. So you've grown a lot. Talk about how you've grown as a magician since first time I met
Yeah,
you.
I would love to. Well, the thing is, I look at creative roadblocks as opportunities to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And with what's going on in the world right now, we are all experiencing some sort of roadblock, have it be with our businesses or, our whatever that may be. In isolation, I've managed to take the time out to recreate a whole new show. And I've had the support of the top magicians in the world, including Jeff McBride, Jason Byrne, Greg Fruin, the world champions, the ones who have won the Grand Prix of Magic. I met David Copperfield last year, in fact. So all of these eventually add up, and you eventually begin to realize how to create ideas that are your own in magic, which is very important. It's important to be original. You have to stand out in this, especially in the magic industry. So what I've realized is I take tricks that have already been done and I put my own twist on them by adding more elements to them. Have it be a story. Maybe there's a story embedded in that piece of magic that tells something autobiographical about my life. And or maybe it's just telling a small story about maybe a movie I saw or a scene in a movie I saw that I really liked and I wanted to kind of recreate that same emotion on stage. So with that being said, it has been a very successful process for me. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've watched, like I said at the time, your Dove Act was my favorite, but I've seen you do stuff I haven't seen other magicians do. But then again, I don't follow a lot of magicians either. You're the first one officially that I recall ever meeting. But
Yeah. I am impressing the greats with the fact that I am creating original magic now. It
yes,
started out that I was kind of the type of guy that would just look and go, okay, I can do that, and then try to learn how to do it. So I'm part self-taught, and also I'm taught by the best magicians in the world. So all these pieces eventually fall together to create the overall experience for the audience.
yes, absolutely. Well, do you, I don't know if I asked you this before, but just on the sake of, at the risk of repeating, do you remember the first trick you ever performed?
When I was, I would say maybe 4 or 5, I went to an ice cream store and I had a deck of cards with me.
Okay.
And I was with my mom, and the neighbors were at the ice cream store. We bumped into them. And I performed this card trick. I was like, here, pick a card. And I did the trick successfully at that age. And my mom could not believe it. She was in complete disbelief that I understood how to create a magic trick so early on in my life. And that came from, I think, the fact that I liked it so much growing up. When I was younger, that I somehow picked up some sort of natural ability to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also have now, I'm beginning to realize the natural ability to create different types of art and incorporate that into what I do. So let's go back to what you were saying. You're seeing things that you have never seen magicians do before.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, there really isn't a magician out there doing the slow motion vanishing candle to dove on card fan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to express here, is that you can combine different types of art, different creative elements to create something original for your audience.
Well, I remember you did one that recently that I'm gonna botch this, but I don't know whether it was a rose or a candle you showed first. You made the rose turn white,
Yes.
and then you turned it into a candle.
No, I turned the
No?
dove. I turned the rose, the white rose, into a dove.
Okay, I knew I was gonna botch that. I just remember I knew I was impressed with it,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where you come up with that, and a lot of it is sleight of hand, or I'm gonna mess up the wording, but it's something that's beyond what I can uh mentally take in, I just see it and it happens as it goes.
Yeah, well, that's what magic is, and when people ask me, how do you do it? How do you do this trick? How do you do that trick? I say to them, it's not about how the tricks are done, but more importantly, why magicians perform magic. Why am I doing this? What is the core purpose? And what is my core intention for what I do? And it's to give people an escape right now, because the world needs magic. It really does.
I hear those doves.
Yeah, especially right now. So yeah, they're talkative. They're a part of the interview today as well. So they were just saying hello. So
I love your knot act too, where
the rope.
I love that too. You make the knot come off of the rope, and
So the magic that you seem to like is the more practical stuff, the stuff that's intimate, practical, and right there right in front of you. You like that style of magic. And
You did one that I think the most impressive one. You did a card one where you had some swivelly lines on it or something. Oh, what was that? I can't remember exactly, but I remember I was impressed with it. You did something where visually something was going on.
oh, you mean, okay, so I had a sketch pad, I drew a picture of a card, and
That's
then
right.
the
That's
card
right.
shows out of the picture. Yeah,
That's right. That
that always gets great reactions. Yeah.
I
It's a
had
great,
never said that. That one there blew me out of the water when you
well,
did
prepare
that.
yourself because this year is going to be amazing for what I'm creating. And, the way I look at the current circumstances with what's going on, I look at it as an opportunity to grow my business, to grow as a performer, to expand on my show, and take time out and to reflect on what's important as a performer, as an entertainer, as an artist. So, and that's where I really stand right now with a lot of what I'm doing.
Yes. And you know what? It's interesting because I saw you perform at Horror-rama. I remember in 2019, I went to Toronto for 2 weeks, and man, that was great. But I felt bad about the after party for Horror-rama because I know there was a snowstorm, and Lisa Langwa and myself went to the Demons 1 and 2 screening where I guess none of the cast showed up, but I know you opened and you did Magic and Blood Opera performed after. And I remember Chris Cooper, the lead singer of Blood Opera, come up and thanking Lisa and I for showing up because I guess that whole after party was didn't go as well as it probably should have. Do you remember anything about that night? And
I got in there, did my show, and got out.
yeah.
Because that's how I do my job, really. I
Mm-hmm.
get into the venue, I do my job, and I go. That's it. Unless I have meet and greets, right? So, and I just remember having a good performance that night. So yeah, and see, for me, it's not the size of the audience that really matters. I'm still gonna get that experience and still be able to get those chops through doing shows. And actually, it was a really good show. That was a good night that I had at that theater. And in regards to the performance, I don't know exactly what happened. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember it was snowing, and
yeah.
that was probably the
No,
latest
it was
they.
a snowstorm. There was a
Yeah,
snowstorm, that's for sure.
yeah. Well, we got off the shuttle bus, and it was like we're trying to keep ourselves as warm as possible, and then getting to that venue, and we had a hard time finding that venue, but we eventually went on the Google Maps and we found it. But yeah, but do you know what the hardest trick you've ever mastered was and how you managed to conquer it and achieve it?
Hmm. Deck of cards here.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Does that look difficult?
Oh, man.
That took me a very long time to master how to get each card in between the fingers like that. And that is consistent practice. Consistent practice every single day. The moment I wake up, I practice with the deck of cards. This one I'm still working on, and it's not the same move. Let's see if I can do it. We're
Okay.
live on the, we're live on the air. Nope, it's not going to work. That's okay. But see, this is what I'm trying to share here is that when the cards are horizontally,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can do this move effectively,
Oh, wow.
right?
That is excellent. Awesome.
So with that being said, that was one of the more difficult moves that I ended up learning in card manipulation. Uh, See, as artists, we make the difficult look easy and the easy look spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do as magicians. That's what we do as artists. So we as magicians will practice very difficult magic. But when we get up in front of an audience, it comes down to simple techniques. Simple techniques. It becomes simplified. And what I've learned is that the best directors know how to edit too. So as a magician, we wear different hats.
Mm-hmm.
Producer, director, costume designer, illusion builder, lighting designer, choreographer, dancer. I'm not just a magician. I have a whole roster of different things that I've studied just to make my magic more tangible for my audience, you know, to give them more of an experience, if that makes sense.
Yes. Now
Does that
you
answer your question?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've worked a lot with the cards, but I noticed you also work with the rings. Now, where I am not informed on this, is there specific types of rings you need for that, or does it matter?
Yes, you need Lord of the Rings for the. No, I'm kidding. You need the special ring from Lord of the Rings to do the ring trick. No, yes, you need Quicksilver rings.
Okay. Now, why Quicksilver rings?
No. It's just a joke. What I'm saying is that it's not the props in the magician's hands that really matter the most. It's not the song, it's the singer, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what I'm saying is that magicians are the worst secret keepers on planet Earth, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as I was once told by one of my mentors. So in answering that question, I can't reveal anything.
Okay.
I can't reveal anything. So
Well, what's it like working with the doves? I know you got what, three or do you have four?
I have
You
four.
got four.
I'm
And
looking at incorporating a fifth into the show pretty soon, in fact.
yes, I love your work with the doves. Now, how long does it take you to train doves?
I've been working with doves in magic for over 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they respond very well to uh, this type of how do I explain this? They respond very well to uh, a certain training process.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my birds has the ability to fly out above the audience, come back and land in my hand
Okay.
when I make it appear. So it goes out a good distance and comes back and lands on my hand.
Mm-hmm.
So that training process took a lot of time to get that opening effect down. You know, it took a lot of time. The dove split, where I split one dove into two doves. Again, these things, they look simple, but they're extremely difficult. They're
Mm-hmm.
extremely difficult. It's all about timing, you know? And without saying too much more, the training process is very consistent for the first while. They adjust, and it's incredible what these birds can do, honestly. So yes.
Is it expensive keeping doves? I hear them back there. They're trying to get their words out.
I don't know, guys. Are you expensive to take care of? No answer. Okay. So
I just have a cat. I'm lucky to keep my cat in check, you
well,
know.
you
But
know, gravel and bird seed is the best. You get the best dove and pigeon mix. That's the best stuff to get for them, and they love millet too. They eat that
okay.
like it's potato chips. Okay, so that's the way they are. It's like a treat for them. So they're treated like royalty. The doves are treated like royalty. So yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, you've started working with roses and candles. Now,
Yeah.
this is the first time I've seen you work with them because I
Yeah.
never seen you work with those at Horror-rama.
Mhm.
So, this is something you've just started
So
to
you're probably
expand on.
wondering why I work with candles and roses.
It's not so much. It's that I think you're expanding your arsenal and your
Oh
magic,
yeah.
which I think is great. You're constantly creating,
Yep.
and the fact that you're able to wow me. And I know you did a Facebook Live where you had me, and I think you had one or two other people that were on there, and I know they were impressed with it as well. And which is great for this pandemic time because we kind of we're right now we're on our computers and stuff. The screen is basically our only way of communicating um, right now. But it's always nice to they to perform and but you've expanded your arsenal
Mhm.
using candles and roses. And what made you go in that direction now for your
There's a
creativity?
magician named Lance Burton.
Okay.
I saw Lance perform his legendary Dove Act on a documentary on Discovery Channel Canada
Mm-hmm.
called The Story of Magic Grand Illusions,
Okay.
which is something that if you really want to learn about magic, right, you should look into this documentary. It's fantastic. And Lance Burton, there were clips of him performing his bird act, and I was like this. Okay, I remember this. I was I think 8 or 9, and my parents would let me stay a little bit past 8 o'clock before going to school. I would show up to school late, but my parents would let me do that so I could see this special. Okay, and because it was only on once a year,
Mm-hmm.
so I saw Lance perform his dove act. This is the first time I'd ever seen a dove appear in my life. And then he started to produce candles.
Okay.
And the way he did it, he wasn't even looking at what he was doing. He was focusing his attention and energy on the audience. And with that being said, I was the one looking at the screen going, where are those cards coming from? Where are those candles coming from? I could not, I was trying to understand the angles at an early age. And just I had to the perspective that I wanted to have clicked and kicked in at such an early age.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I think that happens with a lot of performers, you know. You just pick up this natural ability once you really enjoy something and you really embrace something and you really are inspired by something, then it becomes natural. And Marshall Rodin, who had magic sets, magic kits, and said he had his own brand of magic kits out. He was known as this magician who had his own kind of magic kit company. And I got his magic kits for Christmas. And in the book, it said, it's easy once you know the secret. It's easy once you know the secret. And once I read that, I was like, okay, maybe this is the right path for me then, because if I could somehow simplify what I'm doing, then maybe I'll start to do shows. And I wanted to really be a magician when I was younger. Like this is what I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So Lance, going back to what I was saying, Lance really was the guy who inspired me with not the roses, but with the candles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, magician Tony Clark, I had a conversation with him one day, and I said, because he has this kind of Phantom of the Opera theme with his bird act, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's great. He doesn't do it anymore from what I know, but he would take a piece of flash paper or a piece of paper and a match and then light the match and sparks would fall down and then a rose would appear.
Mm-hmm.
First time I saw that, my jaw dropped. I was like, I have to learn how to do that. That's so cool. So I asked Tony if it would be okay if I could use roses in my act, and he said, use the rose. And I'm like, okay. So you know what? I got the permission to kind of do that, and I ended up really creating a lot of rose magic tricks. Cut and restored a bouquet of roses was something that I think it was an idea that I created. I came up with just on default almost.
Mm-hmm.
So that can happen. So what I'm trying to express here is that it is possible to be naturally born to do what you enjoy to do.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Talk. I don't know how much you could say about this, but I loved it when you turn the rose's color, like from white to red or vice versa. What can you tell us about that?
Um, well, the metaphor behind it is you're looking at roses as a form of life because it is life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When the rose transforms color, what is it doing? It's changing.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say metaphorically? Magic is the art of transformation and change.
Absolutely.
Through the power of life, then the dove appears. Right? That's
Yep.
the story. That's the inner dialogue for that piece. That's what I created that piece for. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I particularly enjoyed that trick. But I am gonna say I'm gonna go back to the cards for a minute because the card act, a lot of magicians use the card act, but I find with what I'm seeing out of you is you're finding new ways to use the card act, new innovative ways to expand that act.
Yep. Yep. I went from, I was, I think, 14, and I picked up a DVD from the magic shop by magician Jeff McBride.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it. I'm like, I remember watching this guy on TV when I was younger, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
learning from him now. This is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I started to learn the art of card manipulation. I watched Jeff McBride perform his mask act with the cards and everything, and a tear streamed down my face. I was so inspired by it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what it reminded me of what is really possible with what magic is, if that makes sense. Like, it really inspired me to push forward and really do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought one day, you know, it'd be really cool to have Jeff McBride as a teacher and a mentor. And I've known Jeff now for 15 years, and I'm very grateful to have him as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So the card stuff, he helped me with that stuff. He really helped me innovate my card act. Performing things where you take a single card like this,
Yep.
like this,
Yeah.
and then produce.
That is great. I like that.
So it was something that I always wanted to learn how to do, but didn't know how it was done until I started to learn. Right. So, and, it's my job as a magician to preserve the art of magic. That's what I'm doing.
I was at my folks' place a little over a week ago, and they're both, of course, terminally ill. But Mom was asking questions about my time with you in Toronto at Horror-rama, and I showed her the video I took of you at the event, and of course, where you have the cards all coming out of your mouth, Oh, that was great. That was great. And you just did it right on the fly. Like, that's going to be great when you could just up and do that without even having to think about it.
Of course. That's what magic is. The way you do it, right?
Yeah, I think you even impressed the doves. They're silent back there right now.
Yes, they're silent. That's for sure. Yeah. They're in awe. They're in awe.
They're in awe. Talk about working with animals, because I know you work with doves, but you got people that work with other animals. You hear about tigers and other exotic animals.
I'm not specialized in that field, so I can't really say much. But what I can say is that I have experience with working with doves.
Mm-hmm.
Do I plan to get a parrot down the road? Many people have asked me that question. I'm going to let that one be a surprise, So with that being said, it's not my specialty, right? It's not something I completely understand yet, because that's something that you're learning about every single day. So
parrots grow to be, I don't know whether them or tortoises are the longest living animal. They're both up there. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people love to watch a dove appear. like as soon as a dove appears, people just start applauding. You know?
Yep.
So
Oh
it's
yeah.
very effective because what you're doing is you're metaphorically sculpting life at your fingertips. You know, it's like that's what the metaphor is that's how artistic and cool it really is. Like you have a silk, you're showing it empty, and then you look into the mirror and produce a dove. You just sculpted life and produced life at your fingertips.
Yeah. Oh, I watched you do one the other night where you made your dove cage disappear just in thin air with that cloth of yours.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a new one. That's brand new in the show.
That's the first time I've seen it. So
brand new in the show, brand new one in the show now. So can we talk about some of my experiences last year going to Las Vegas?
We can. Before we get to that though, talk about the event with the vehicle in the parking lot.
Okay, here we go. This gets interesting. So
I saw this when you did it live, like when the video went live. So this was great. Yeah, tell your story on that.
So Halloween Day, World Magic Day last year. What happened was I ended up coming up with this idea. I've been working on this for years. Wanted to make a car appear. And I can't say much because I don't want to give away. You understand. I don't want to give away.
Yeah, that's all right. Yep.
But what I will say is that it was something that was on my mind for years. We accomplished it. We got it done. And it got more press than I ever thought it ever would. And the magicians loved it. And not only did I make a car appear, but you know what? You can see it. You can see it on YouTube. That's for sure. So, yeah.
Is that the doves making those piano noises?
No.
But yeah, that was an impressive trick, and that was a massive one.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest trick like that I've seen you put on. Like you were out there, and I love the fact it was a nice vacant parking lot, and you had a couple of people out there helping you with it there in the background. And yeah, that was massive. In fact, I think they put it up on the Horror-rama Facebook page as well. So.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't just a car. What was it?
Limousine.
No.
No.
A hearse.
A hearse. Well, they're both black cars.
So it happened at a haunted house theme park in Newmarket, Ontario. And a lot of people ask me, well, was it really there? Of course it was there.
There you go. Now you're going to talk about Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I've never been to Las Vegas. When I think of Las Vegas, I think of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you know, the movie. What's it like in the City of Lights? And then tell us about your experiences.
I've been to Las Vegas 3 times over the past, I would say, close to 10 years. First time I went, it was a scary experience for me because it was the first time I was leaving the country on my own to do magic and learn magic, and a very scary experience for me to be doing that at first. But the second trip, okay, things started to get interesting. I stayed out there for 2.5 weeks, stayed with a friend, got to perform on stage at Jeff McBride's Wonderground, which is a nightclub. It's like a kind of like a Burning Man festival meets magic, meets like hookah lounge, meets like, you know, it's really a cool place to be. And this is where all the magicians, hang out. So with that being said, he gave me the opportunity to perform on stage. So he and it was a great experience. And then I ended up meeting during that same trip, I met magician extraordinaire, Jason Byrne. Jason is from Canada. He now resides in Las Vegas, and he is known as one of the best dove magicians out there. In fact, after this is done, I'm going to send you a clip of his dove act so you can watch this act because it's amazing.
Okay.
And Jason and I became good friends, and he brought me out on stage at Planet Hollywood when there was no audience there. And I stood, and he's like, so how does it feel to stand in the middle of the stage right now? And I was just like, I couldn't react. You know, like I couldn't react to that because how can you? You're on the Las Vegas stage. You work so hard towards that goal.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of your, you know, your inspirations just brings you right out there and asks you that question. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, wow, you know, like it was amazing. And I got to see him do the Bird Act live, and that was like amazing. And then also the first year that I went, I met magician Rick Thomas. And Rick Thomas, again, another great magician, great illusionist. So last year, my friend Patrick Nemeth and I went to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
We took the long flight, and we got there. And what happened was, I ended up performing on stage for Jeff McBride.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided, okay, we saw Chris Angel's show, we saw who else did we see? Penn and Teller's show, and we saw Cirque du Soleil's Caw,
Mm-hmm.
which was fantastic, by the way. And then we decided to go and see David Copperfield.
Okay.
So what happened was, I went up to the souvenir booth to buy an 8x10 photo of David Copperfield autographed and this T-shirt. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, I can. Oh,
David
yes.
Copperfield.
David
So
Copperfield. Yep.
I bought this T-shirt, and after I was done, Patrick and I are standing at the booth just waiting to get into the theater to see the show.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say who did this, but somebody tugged on the back of my shirt, and it wasn't Patrick because Patrick was in front of me, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we're in Vegas. Who just did that? And I turned around, and you know who it is? It wasn't David Copperfield. It was somebody who does know him, and he said, "Can I see your tickets, please?" I'm like, "Uh-oh." did something go wrong here? He said to me, "Ryan, this isn't going to do it justice." He moved us second row to the front and center. I was right there. I experienced it all. I got to see David Copperfield do the stuff that I can't even put it into words, the stuff that he did. I don't want to spoil it for people in case people decide to go out and see the show, but it's a must-see show. And afterwards, one of his assistants comes up to the table and says, "Here are the wristbands. You guys are going to be meeting David Copperfield after the show."
Oh, wow.
So we're brought out into this hallway, and I see him, you know, walk through the door. The door opens, and it's just the emotion. I can't even express what I felt, because I saw him when I was 5 years old, maybe a little bit older, and he materialized snow again from his hands, his bare, empty hands, and he made the entire theater filled the entire theater filled with snow. And he made it snow in the theater, and I saw that on TV, and I started to cry. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I met him, I said, "Can you personalize this autograph for me?" And he did that for me, and it was just like, wow, like it just goes to show, like, you know, like, wow, some of these magicians that have inspired me. I'm so grateful that I've had the opportunity to meet them and learn from them, and I think I'm well on my way now, considering the fact that I've spent my time in Las Vegas, and I just got an award, which we can talk about that soon if you want to.
Yep.
But one thing seems to lead to another thing, and when you're going through a goal setting process, it's important to take things one step at a time, because even if you're taking things one step at a time, you're still making progress.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Yep.
I took those steps, and now this is where I'm at with what I'm doing, and it's becoming phenomenal. Yeah.
Is it a challenge to come up with new illusions?
Yes, it is, because you have to do a lot of research, see what's already been done, go on YouTube, read a lot of magic books. You've got to realize what's already been done, and then you've got to take what's been done and put your own twist on it, and that's the secret to it.
Mm-hmm.
That really is the secret to it. It's like
Yep.
it's like looking at a piece of art and going, maybe I could create that in my own way, in expressive way, right? Instead of just copying it, and because then you're just copying it. That's all you're doing. But then if you look at it from a different perspective, you can see different elements in different ways, and different how do I say this? different creative avenues open up in the sense that it just comes to you. Creativity just kind of comes to you. You know what I mean? It's not something that can be forced or anything. And for the process that I have, it wasn't a process that I forced. It was something that just came to me naturally, you know? So does that answer the question?
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Now, you did win an award. Now, talk about that.
I won't talk
Oh,
about
you're gonna show it. That's awesome.
So with that being said, magician Sean Farquhar from Vancouver, British Columbia, who appeared on Penn and Teller's Fool Us a couple of times, I sent him footage of my Dove Act. And he sends me an invitation to the Pacific Coast Association of Magicians virtual online magic convention. I competed in the stage magic category, and can you guess what I won? The gold medal for stage magic, Pacific Coast Association of Magicians.
Oh wow, awesome.
Yes, virtual stage magic. So that's the first gold medal that I've ever received in magic as a magician, and that just adds to the accolades now because I've got so many accolades now for what I've done. I'm looking at what the next milestone is, and the next milestone is hopefully getting the chance to at least perform in the FISM competition, which is the World Championships. That's the Federation International Society of Magicians, and they hold a convention every few years in different parts of the world. And guess where it's going to be this year? Canada.
Canada.
Montreal, yes. And I've been invited. They want me to go. So this has become a huge deal. Yeah.
How many magicians are part of that competition?
The FISM? There's a certain qualification process that's involved with that. That I can't answer because I don't know.
Okay. Wow. So tell me what else is up for the future.
Well, right now I'm working on I have a show at the Living Arts Center on January 30th.
Okay.
Emerson Hall. That's a 1,300 seat theater. 1,300 seat theater. We're doing pre-recorded footage of my performance, and then that's going to be on YouTube as a viral performance for a gala that I'm doing. And that's a big stage where I'm going to be doing illusions that people have never ever seen me do yet.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
You going to do Horror-rama this year, or have you decided?
Hoping to. Okay.
Well, we're hoping it's going to happen. We missed out on 2020, and boy, that was a downer. But we both been to the same one, so yeah. You I know you've signed a picture for me. Now, are you going to expand your merchandise when you're Yes. In fact, what I'm doing right now is I'm opening up a special page on my website for people who want to buy t-shirts, stickers, or and the funds from those souvenirs go directly towards the show. So what you're doing is you're actually donating to a cause instead of just buying stuff off of my site, because I want to be able to contribute towards the cause of magic. And if I can do that through having t-shirts and stickers and buttons and all sorts of stuff, then that's great, you know? So we will have new merchandise there, and we will also have new merchandise on the website. I'm also going to be working on a how to do like 100 tricks DVD and stuff like that, and simple tricks that you can do DVD that you can take home and learn how to do some tricks and show your friends and your family. And yeah, so we're working on that stuff, definitely. Yeah. Okay. Is there any tricks that you won't do, like that you've seen performed by other magicians, but you won't do for one reason or another? Let me think about that for a second. I don't do big stunts. Okay, yeah. I don't do big publicity stunts in the sense that I'm a magician. I am an illusionist, but I'm not a stunt guy. Right? So that's where I kind of have to put the line down, because that's just not what I do.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen some illusions that I definitely wouldn't do. Like, I wouldn't want to be run over by a steamroller, you know. I think Chris Angel pulled that one off pretty good. And levitating above the Luxor, no, that's too high in the air for Ryan. So,
Mm-hmm.
so there's certain, I got certain fears towards certain things, yeah, just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions I commonly get asked is, are you ever nervous or scared in front of an audience? Of course, but I go with it. I go with it.
You
You know?
seem very natural when you're on stage. Like when I saw you on stage at Horror-rama, you seem very natural. Like you're ready to go, and you got your black overcoat on there that you wear that goes well. I like the blonde hair, goes well with it. You see a lot of magicians, you find them with black hair and whatnot. I like you got that little signature of your own as well. And
Yes.
yeah.
So we're
And
always updating the costumes.
yes. Well, I know you've told me you bought some new costume. Do you want to talk about any of that?
So what I've done is I've studied. I've actually gone out of my own way to make my own costumes. You know,
Okay.
I've learned how to sew. I do have some skill in carpentry as well. You have to develop different skills outside of magic, and you have to understand costume design and masks and different types of performance art and mime and all this stuff, right? So what I did was I looked at what I wanted to be as a character, as a persona on stage,
Hmm.
and started to visually create. Let me see if I can find it here. Started to visually create this image of what I wanted to look like on stage as a magician because I wanted a more futuristic approach to what I do, right? So I got these boots
Oh, yes. They look great.
with all the silver buckles, and that was something that um, the metallic buckles. Something I really wanted to uh, create was a more futuristic approach towards, more innovative approach towards what I'm doing.
Hmm. So, how are you dealing with the pandemic? Is it making you more creative, or are you
A lot of like sitting down and working on things. And I'm a get up and go type person, you know. So this is way different for me. But it's again like when we first started this interview, I was talking about how to adapt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've taken the opportunity to turn it into a business because
Uh-huh.
what do you do when you're in an office? You're sitting down, right? So
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm gonna use that to my ability and start to try to find more shows for when this does improve because it will pass.
Oh, I'm
So
looking forward to that. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
Apparently, the vaccine is out there. Somebody had posted yesterday. Actually, one of my guests posted. Uh, Somebody she knew was 90 some years old was getting the vaccine, and I
Mhm.
guess it was successful. So there is some hope.
Yes, there is.
Thank goodness. About
Yes.
bloody time.
Yeah.
you know and I miss CHSR, but I've had no way of being able to do that, but I am still part of the station. i
Mhm.
haven't uh, I haven't ceased that, but I'm really glad my brother Andrew had set me up, got me set up on Zoom and Skype, but everybody was doing Zoom, so I'm right now, you're my third on Zoom.
Wow.
um, and I kind of like this. I kind of like this, and I'm slowly adjusting to this. Uh, this is magic to me. Trying to figure out online working with Zoom. you know, uh, Not quite up there in the level that you're doing, but I figured out something today with Zoom, and I was like, okay, this is where this was. Is there anything else you want to share? Anything up and coming that before we conclude?
You know what? I think that's it, Greg. I think we've covered everything today.
Well, I always say when my guest does more talking than me, then it's a successful interview. So I'm glad to sit back and chime in here and there, but I loved hearing your stories, your award, your trip to Las Vegas, and of course about the hearse. I'm gonna get right this time. The hearse. That was
Yeah.
a great act. That was a great act. And
People are actually so confused by it, they actually thought I made it disappear instead of making it appear. So what I've realized is that actually could be a good thing. So
mhm.
and what I realized was also that was honestly that's the biggest illusion I've ever done in my career.
Oh
It's
yeah.
appearance. So and that's what they call mega magic, mega illusions. You know, that's what they brand that kind of magic as. So yeah, Greg, it was great. Thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Well, we've been in touch, and I'm really happy to still be connected with you. And I want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Keep increasing your act. I don't even know how you sleep because you just sleep thinking
I
about
take
this stuff.
naps. I take naps. You ask David Copperfield, it's a magician's secret. We take naps, we take 3 hour naps, we get back up and we get back at it again. When I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about it.
Hmm.
I'm still thinking about it when I'm sleeping. The
I would
mind
imagine.
that's how much I love it, man. And you know what? The future holds some very exciting things for me, not
Hmm.
just me, but also my audiences.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Ryan, I bid you a good day.
Thank
Uh,
you.
full
You
of
as
wonder, full of magic, full of everything that makes you great.
Hey,
And
the power than the glory, my friend.
absolutely. And I miss Toronto. I look forward to getting back there, and I plan to make that happen. Hopefully this year. I'm hoping. You know, but everybody's predicting that we should be back to close to normal. But they're saying by summer maybe. Knock on wood. But yeah.
All right. Well, this was awesome, Greg. Thank you for having me on the show.
It was an honor. Be patient about this getting out. I
Yeah,
usually rely on my brother on that end. I'm not very tech savvy,
it's all
but
good.
yeah.
All good.
But I know your first one is up there, and this was great. This was great.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. You take care. God bless, and keep creating, keep making
You as
magic.
well. To you as well, Greg. All the best.
All right. You take care.
Bye now.
Yep. Bye.